When you think of Nickelodeon, I can almost guarantee that 90% of people think of the popular hit show SpongeBob SquarePants. And with any great show comes the products from toys to even the most obscure things featuring characters and references to it. SpongeBob is by far, in my opinion, one of the best examples of this. So popular that he has been featured in numerous video games of his own, from the Great Battle for Bikini Bottom to the not so, well, other great games.
That's disgusting.
However, one game that I do own that I remember enjoying as a kid was Spongebob SquarePants Supersponge on the PS1. If I remember correctly, the game was fun and enjoyable, even earning itself on the spot of PlayStation 1's greatest hits. The game was also created for the Game Boy Advance, but I don't have that version of the game, so we're going to instead focus just on the PlayStation 1 version. Please keep in mind that there will be a few spoilers throughout this, so please, if you want to play the game, I suggest you play that before you watch this video.
Rev up those fryers!
Super Sponge came to stores in November 5th, 2001 and became the first SpongeBob game to be released to a home console. The game managed to get mixed reviews with some high and low scores. It was kind of a medium-edged sword here. Many people claim the game is great, complimenting its music and art style, while others argue that the game was too short and the controls were a bit on the fishy side. I'm so sorry for that joke.
Get back to work, Mr. Squidward.
Regarding the reviews, the game did manage to sell over 1 million copies. Due to this, it became one of the best sold PS1 games, earning itself on the PS1's greatest hits list. The game today is not that difficult to find, with used disc online costing around $10 with the case even included. I managed to get my game in a store with everything in it for only $8. As weird as it is to say, this game actually has a bit of intriguing history behind it, and I was even shocked to find it out. Climax, the company that developed the game, shut down the studio the game was made at. Due to this, several sets to the game were released, including 2 backup discs. The discs contain things you'd expect, such as concept art, models for the game, and other such stuff. However, they also contained a lot of unused stuff that raises a lot of questions. For instance, a file was discovered that includes 3D models that have been remade into 2D sprites. This suggests the game may have been only 3D at one point before its final release. Another file contained emulators for NES, SNES, and Genesis. This gives us the impression that Super Sponge took inspiration from other games as well. Furthermore, other files were found relating to Season 1 and 2 of SpongeBob, so the game could make references to various episodes within the game itself. Several animations were also found for SpongeBob that were not used in the game, with some even being quite strange.
Oh my goodness!
If you think that was all that this game had to hide, there is a lot more to it. Sound files were found with songs that strangely played in the Game Boy Advance version, but not the PS1. One song was found titled Big Top. This may have suggested a carnival or circus theme level for the game. However, it was used for the ending credits on the Game Boy Advance version, but not in the PlayStation 1. Unused voice lines for the characters also exist in the game for the characters found in the game. Items and enemies were also discovered that were unused. Surprisingly, this included the shark from the episode Muscle Bob Buff Pants, where the shark sells the inflatable buff arms on the commercials. He does not appear in the final game, which makes me a little sad. Where is the love for my shark? I thought he was an amazing character. Didn't you think he was amazing? I think he deserves more love than this. Several other things have been leaked onto the internet showing just how big this game could have been. To this day, things are still being discovered. Now that that is all out of the way, let's get into the game itself. The game's plot is that it's Patrick's birthday. SpongeBob wants to give his friend the best present ever, so to accomplish this, SpongeBob sets out to go to Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy and get an autograph for Patrick. This sounds like a simple enough task. However, in order to get the autograph, the superheroes send SpongeBob out on several quests before they eventually agree to sign the autograph. In my personal opinion, this plot is not one of the greatest for a video game, but this is SpongeBob, so I'm gonna let it slide. The game is divided into 5 chapters, each containing unique level designs that I really appreciate. Each level gives you something new to see and explore with different mechanics than the other. The music used for the game is just outstanding and fits the game very well. I mean, just listen to the very first level's soundtrack. I mean, come on, you know it's gold. Even you have to like it. The game plays as your standard platformer with jumping through levels, defeating enemies on the stage, and the occasional collectible item. The game includes various iconic locations from the show, such as Jellyfish Fields to even Rock Bottom, sure to make any fan happy. The game also includes some original levels just for itself. Each level has its own design and mechanics to it, so you'll always face something new. I love this because it keeps gameplay from getting too repetitive. However, some levels are quite annoying to navigate through, like for instance, Downtown Bikini Bottom. I cannot describe how much infuriating this level made me. Not to mention some of the enemies you face in it, but we'll get on more to that later. Downtown Bikini Bottom is, in my opinion, a good example of bad game design. Don't get me wrong, I love hard levels as much as any person, but this level will mess you up. It's nothing too bad once you learn your way around, and I can say the same about the other levels you face later in the game, but they're still difficult due to the fact that simply getting knocked off a building by an enemy could land you to an unwanted death. Along with the levels comes the 5 bosses of the game, and they could have been better. They're not all too hard to beat and require certain ways to defeat them. The first boss you encounter is Mother Jellyfish, in which you can defeat launching jellyfish at her. You defeat her by throwing jellyfish at her, which doesn't make sense because she's a jellyfish. The second boss is a robotic fish-like creature you defeat by shooting jellyfish at it. The third boss is a parasitic worm you defeat by butt bouncing on it when it comes near you. The fourth boss is the Flying Dutchman, who you defeat by waiting for him to appear and shooting it with the jellyfish launcher, and he cannot go 5 seconds without saying the word
I am the Flying Dutchman!
or
I am going to steal your soul!
Steal your soul.
The final boss and quite weirdest is the Iron Dogfish. You defeat him by pressing buttons on top of the level that freeze him in place, in which you butt bounce on him to defeat him. I gotta say, for a final boss, it wasn't really exciting to fight him at all. Once you defeat the final boss, you head back to Mermaid Man's and Barnacle Boy's house, where you fix their TV. After this, you are at Patrick's surprise party, where everyone in the room tells Patrick happy birthday. The narrator then takes a picture of them all, and the game switches to credits. Wow, I just risked my entire life just so we could get a picture taken at the end of it. I think this game deserves a round of applause. Come on, best award for best game ending ever. Come on, clap your hands. After going over this game, I realized it's not as good as I would have liked to remember, but I still enjoyed playing it, even though sometimes it can be a total pain in the neck. It is quite fast to beat and the controls are a bit stiff, but for nostalgic reasons, it's a blast to play. Even though the game does have a few things that could have been different, I still enjoy this game and still had fun beating it. If you're looking for a platformer you could beat in one setting or to speedrun, this is the perfect game for you. It has tons to offer to keep you playing all the way through, enjoying its charm. But for other seldom reasons, unless you're looking for something fast to play or to speedrun, I don't really see any other reason you would own this game except to collect it. So if you ever do have a few extra dollars and not sure what to spend it on, I'd suggest you give this game a chance. It is a little buggy and there are some things that could have been fixed, but it is a nice little game to play in my opinion, even if it does have its own little quirks.